welcome back. And guess who's done with first year? Honestly, first year just went by so fast, and I'm done now and I'm basically in second year. Well, it hasn't begun yet. I'm on my summer holiday right now, back in London, so I've moved out, and yeah, I'm just chilling at home. I haven't really done too much during the summer holiday, in all honesty. But I'm looking for work at the moment, trying to save up for some fun things with friends. However, during my time here, I received a lot of messages from loads of people asking whether I can show my portfolio and everything that I've done in my first year. So that's the video. In today's video, I'm going to talk you through everything that I've done in my first year and show you all the pieces of work and animation that I've created. I, in all honesty, don't think I can fit everything into one video, so this might be a little series. The first year is split into 3 terms, so in this video I'm going to talk about my first term and everything that I've done, and then in 2 separate videos, most likely, I'll fit everything else in and show you everything, because I think in one video it's just gonna be too much. Speaking of messages from all of you, I just want to take the time to appreciate all the love and support I've received on this channel so far, especially with my portfolio video that I made last year. That has had such an overwhelmingly positive response, in all honesty. Like the messages and the comments that I've received both on YouTube and Instagram have been so sweet, and it's amazing seeing that my videos helped you and even helped you get into AUB as well for animation, which is amazing. So thank you so much for all the love and support here. As of right now, my portfolio video has 12,000 views, which I'm so grateful for. So here I am back at it again with another portfolio video. I've got my notes here and let's see if we can top that one. So to start off the video, my first term was called Fundamentals of Animation. This was like an introduction to animation, as the course sort of assumes that everybody hasn't animated before, which is true in my case. This is like my first time really animating, and I'm glad that it was like that, because animation isn't as easy as people make it out to be. The first year focuses on 2D traditional animation, which it is difficult. Oh my god. We did very short pieces of animation, ranging from like 1 to 2 seconds, and with the odd project being around 10 seconds long or something like that. Very short pieces, but again, they take forever to make. I'll show you the animation at the end, but firstly I'm going to take you through all the drawing side of the animation course. So the course was sort of split up into 3 sections. So each week we'd have a life drawing class, a studio class, which would be inside the animation studio at the university, and also we had a self-directed study component of the course where it was all individual, so we could do that at home, and it would be sort of guided in a way. So we had demo videos which were sent to us, which we could reference, and also had like a little brief that would assist us in the self-directed part of the course, which was more of the smaller part of the course. The main parts were really life drawing and the studio work. So to start this portfolio video off, we're going to talk about ways of seeing, which was actually the first task we were given at AUB, and we had to draw what was the guy's name? Stravinsky by Picasso, both the right way up, so normally essentially, and then also draw him upside down. And this task was meant to show that the upside down drawing was supposed to look better, but I'll show you here what it'll look like, and mine looks better the right way up, I think. So I don't really understand, but that was the task. I hope you can see that. So that was the task for ways of seeing, but we also did some life drawing, which was also included in the ways of seeing part of the portfolio. I'm using my laptop here, sorry. So I can see everything and then deliver. We also were in the life drawing studio. We had models who would pose for us, and we would draw them live. It was often timed, so we did like 1-minute drawings, 2-minute drawings, and then some longer. We did like a 10-minute drawing. I think we once did like a 30-minute drawing. Yeah, 30 minutes. I don't know if we did more. I honestly can't remember much of first year now. Jeez. Yeah, so we did a lot of random drawings and life drawing. Yeah, kind of sums that up for ways of seeing, really. I'll put everything that I did for that topic up on the screen here for you to see, but it was literally looking at things and drawing it, so sums it up pretty well, I think. So the next part of the life drawing portfolio was cylindrical figure. In this topic, we covered using cylinders and incorporating that into life drawing and drawing the human form. So we would draw cylinders into the life drawing that we did in the life drawing studio, and that basically improved our understanding of the human body and improved our life drawing skills. So it started off with us drawing cylinders and then incorporating them into the life drawing. I'll show you examples of how we did that, and I think it did help quite a bit. It definitely made me feel a bit more confident drawing in the life drawing studio. I think with the cylinders, it also gave us a better understanding of where joints are and where the body sort of breaks up into different cylindrical shapes, which makes it much easier to draw the human body, especially if you haven't really done it before. And it definitely helped me, as I said before, so I do suggest you try doing that, especially if you're making your portfolio now for university. It might be a good idea to practice life drawing beforehand, because I know that animation universities, especially AUB, look for strong life drawing skills, and this is definitely like a piece of advice that I would give to someone else if they are starting out with life drawing. The measuring and proportion task was a little bit tricky, I must say. It was definitely harder than I thought it would be. So my memory of it now was literally, we were told to draw a grid. I think it was like by 1 centimeter. 1 centimeter by 1 centimeter or something. So we had to draw a grid and then draw the model who was in front of us on that grid. And apparently the grid was meant to help with proportion. I think it made it a little bit more tricky. It definitely made me see how I could have improved my proportions with the measurements, but it was a bit of a tricky task, I must say, and we didn't really do it again, so I didn't take too much from that session, but I'll show you it here. It wasn't my best piece, to be honest. It was just all of this was just experimentation, to be honest, and a lot of it I hadn't done before, but it was all helpful stuff. The next task was Lulworth location drawings, which, as I mentioned before, Lulworth Cove was a trip that we had, and it was a beautiful place. We did a lot of drawing there. Well, to be honest, on the day it was so cold that I couldn't really draw, so yeah, I didn't really draw it on site. I did some drawings on site and then I took pictures and then did it back at home, but it was too cold that day. I couldn't even hold my pencil, so but I'll show you some of the drawings there. I think this one was more fun. I got to use some watercolor paints and I did a lot of sketchbook drawings, so I'll put them all up here for you to see, but it was a good task and a lovely place to visit. The animation production course actually took us on like 3 trips, which is surprising because my experience of like sixth form and secondary school, we didn't really have much trips, so you know, it felt like being in school all over again. and it was really nice. The next area that I'm going to cover is use of media, which was a task that we were given where we used different mediums. I used chalk, charcoal and watercolor to do some life drawing. It was kind of a change from just using pencil in the life drawing room. I missed this day in studio, however I did mine at home, so I didn't really use a real life model in front of me, but I used line of action to draw these pieces. This next task I really enjoyed. It was anatomy sculpting with light, and we were in the life room drawing the models in front of us using charcoal, both white and black, and some greys to sculpt with light, and it was really fun. For this task we had a lot of time to really focus and narrow down on the sculpting, and I think the outcome was better because we had that extra time to really focus on 2 drawings rather than so many in only 3 hours. So yeah, the task was really fun. I'll show you here, and I definitely would do it again. Sculpting with light and just lighting, shadows and stuff like that I think is something that I need to improve, and it's definitely a personal target of mine. So this task really did help see light in a different way. So that was all life drawing work that I did in the first term of the first year, and now I'm going to move on to studio work. So the first task for studio work was still life cloth drawings. So for the still life cloth drawings, we were told to bring a couple of items from home with different shapes and a piece of cloth. And we brought that into class, we put them on the table and then put the cloth over it. The task was to draw the items without the cloth on a piece of paper. I think it was like an A3 size paper, and then put the cloth over it and draw the cloth on top of the drawing of the objects. The cloth meant that we had to really think about perspective and what would stick out from those objects that were underneath the cloth. I'll show you what the piece looked like, and I think I did alright for that one. So next on the list is observational and simplified sack drawings. We created a lot of animated videos with sacks, and we did a lot of sack drawings throughout the first year, so it was just literally observational drawings of sacks, and we had literal rice sacks hung up in the classroom, so we would sit around and draw those sacks to really understand what a sack looks like. So yeah, that was the task. We drew a lot of sacks, and then we drew sacks rotating, and then we drew sacks if they had personalities, and then we just drew sacks, okay? Loads and loads of sacks. Next up is skeleton drawings. That was I'm not a fan of drawing a skeleton, honestly. Yeah, there's just too many ribs, man. There's just too many ribs. We drew the skull, we drew the skeleton, anatomically. So we drew the skull, we drew a human skeleton. I also drew a bird skeleton, I believe. So I'll include that so you can see that too. Yeah, in one of the drawings I didn't put the right amount of skulls in the drawing, so did I say skulls or ribs? Ribs. The next task was the artist study, and this is the first artist study focusing on the basics. I chose his work, and here are some of my pieces. The task was quite interesting because Egon uses quite a lot of lines, but very thin lines, and I had to really pay attention to the way that I would draw his pieces, because I realized that I drew my lines a little bit more thicker than he did, and I had several attempts at drawing some of his work because just the way he drew lines was quite different to the way that I did. So it was an interesting task. And yeah, I also drew for the second artist study, which focused on anatomy. I looked at the work of Paul Rubens, and we did a lot of anatomy studies using Paul Rubens. That one I think I didn't enjoy as much, in all honesty. It was quite a tedious and long task. Maybe it wasn't the best artist to choose for me, but it was definitely a challenge, and yeah, it was just drawing muscly men. Yeah, I drew some guy's chest and some guy's leg for that task. Yeah, it wasn't really me. It was more out of my comfort zone. But I did it and it turned out okay. Yeah, for the artist study 3, I focused on an artist called William Kentridge, and using his work, I recreated some of his pieces focusing on line. So I used a couple of different mediums for his works. So I used pencil, charcoal, and a mixture of paint and this brush pen that we were given by the university, which was quite nice. I used it to recreate a drawing of a bird by William Kentridge, and it came out quite well, so I'll show you the pieces here as well. And now for the last section, we're going to focus on self-directed study work. So in the first part, the self-directed study work, we did perspective drawings, and to be honest, I think that was probably the hardest part of first year in general. Perspective drawings was quite a tricky one to understand. It took me a couple attempts at some of the perspective work that we did. I think in the end it really opened my eyes to see how perspective can really change your perspective when you look at a piece of artwork, because there have been drawings that I've created in the past, and now that I look at it, I'm just like, the perspective is all off. But we focused on 3 different types of perspective, so 1-point perspective, 2-point perspective, and also 3-point perspective. I think in the end I got a better understanding of perspective, but it's definitely something I don't really like that much, and yeah, background drawings and stuff like that isn't really for me. I'm more into designing characters, which was what we did in the second term, which was really fun. Was it the second term? I think it was the second term. Yeah, it was the second term, must have been, which was more fun, so I can't wait to talk through all of that. But the next task was drawing architecture perspective location studies. What was that? One second. And last but not least was the ethnographic sketchbook. For the ethnographic sketchbook, we had a bit more freedom on how we could draw and present it, but for the task we had to draw essentially the people around us just working or just doing things, and I drew a couple of my friends and some people that I saw around my class, and yeah, it didn't do too much for this task because the deadline was coming out real soon, and if you go to AUB, especially if you do animation, a lot of us have asked for extensions, especially throughout first and the third term, I think. It was really a stressful time for us because we had so much going on, but yeah, it was kind of a rushed piece by me, but yeah, it was an alright one altogether, I think. But there are other ones that I'm sure you can definitely see I liked a lot more. So that was all the work that I did in first year regarding the drawing side of the portfolio. We also had the animation side of the portfolio, which I haven't really spoken too much about, except for the sacks, obviously. But I'll show you what the animation looked like if I can upload it into this video somehow. I haven't really done that before, but I'll figure it out. And hopefully you'll be able to see it. If not, I'll find another way of showing you. But we created 3 animated pieces in the first term, and yeah, they were just all introducing us to animation, which was what the whole topic was about, fundamentals of animation. I really hope that this video has helped you and that you enjoyed seeing my work, and I hope that it's not too long before I post the other 2 videos showing you what the second and third term were like. And I definitely have some other ideas for YouTube videos. I'll most likely make a video talking about what first year in general, aside from like the animation stuff, what first year was just like in general, which could be a fun like discussion type video that we could do. If you want to see that, let me know. But I really hope that you enjoyed this video. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye!